Hello good yo-yo people, I'm Nate and this is Let's Talk Yo-Yo. Today I have a review for you. Today's review is of a Magic YoYo, a bimetal, a soon to be release for them. This is the FOCUS-Z01. The Focus 01. All right, this is my review of the Focus. That's what we're gonna call it from now on. It's just easier that way. All right, here's my review of the Focus. So in the hand section, let's talk about this yo-yo. So it is a bimetal, and before I even go into it, this is a little bit different than, a different yo-yo than I typically would review on this channel. Normally on this channel I review mostly boutique companies, and so this is probably maybe the largest company I've actually reviewed for, most profitable maybe, perhaps. They have a kind of a range of yo-yos, some in the cheaper, more budget-friendly, some in a little bit more competition, and this one here, the Focus, is in that more competition, a little bit higher budget yo-yo of theirs. And it's a bimetal, as you can tell. It's got some beefy bimetal rings on there on the outside, and even covering on towards the inside. So lots of rim weight there. You can definitely tell it's going to be fairly stable, very competition focused. Let's open up the gap here, get the string out of the way, and you'll see that it's a V-shape yo-yo. It's sort of a step V-shape there, kind of flattening out just a little bit. So I would even say kind of a almost hybrid between a wedge shape and V shape, with that how it kind of angles up a little bit. You can see where there's a little bit glossy on the gap there, that it's actually been masked off so that the blast isn't going to rip up your string, and so that's a nice little detail. The blast is really decent on that. I think it's the same as most other Magic yo-yos that I've seen or that I've played with. It's pretty decent. It's not overly aggressive, but it's gonna grind okay. Now the bowls on there, I wouldn't say that you're gonna be able to pull off like perfect finger spins. It's not really geared towards that. It doesn't really have an IRG, but perhaps you would be able to get your thumb in there or okay. So looking at the profile of this, you can definitely tell it's going to be really decent for those horizontal type tricks and so on. It kind of deliberately pulls away from there. You have a little bit of a gap as well, and so a little less string drag and all those sort of things. Overall, like I said, just from the looks of it and feeling in the hand, you can definitely tell this is going to be a competition friendly, very performance focused yo-yo. Just as a bimetal in general, what we're seeing is some bimetals coming out though that are more laid back, so that's not always the case now. But this one is certainly going to be a competition friendly focus yo-yo. You hear that crow? He's excited for this yo-yo too, and I think he's telling me that I need to go play it. All right, let's go ahead and actually play it. All right, so welcome back to the on the string section with the Focus Z01. Again, I'm just gonna call it the Focus, I think, just to kind of shorten it up a little bit. Now, let's talk about what it feels like on the string. And I talked about in the hand that it's going to be really competition friendly and a performance focused. Now you know that I'm not a competitor and I don't really play very fast. I don't necessarily play a lot of tech, those sort of things. Most of my tricks are kind of more fluid, a little bit more flowy, and maybe even simple, possibly, but just kind of more the art of it than it is the stage of it, if that makes sense. But I will tell you that this yo-yo is actually kind of wanting me, if it's speaking to me, if it has a soul, okay? It's speaking to me to kind of push it a little bit more, okay? It just feels like it's a little bit more competition friendly, like it's wanting me to go faster. I don't really do speed combos, but it just has that sort of, it has that it factor as far as what you want in a performance yo-yo. Lots of just great sort of momentum. You can really build the momentum really quickly. It's a heavier yo-yo for a bimetal. So you don't necessarily think, oh, it's going to be something that you'll be able to push easily, but it kind of has that like just steady pace. So you can really gather momentum quickly on this, and it definitely has some very powerful spin times. Not just like long spin times, but powerful. So I feel like even on a bind, after a longer trick, you feel still very solid on it. You do not have to throw this yo-yo hard to get a powerful spin to it. Let's go ahead and do some regens and see how it performs with those. If I can bind. Yeah, regens are really nice. You can definitely tell how powerful and stable it is. Man, those bimetal, those rings really give it all the stability it needs. Trying to avoid a tree up here. There's a little branch right here. Anyways, but yeah, gap's really easy to hit. For things like rejections, for a magic drop, things like that, it's really decent. We'll just kind of just see what the gap feels like there. It doesn't pull on it at all. You can definitely feel like it's opening up really nicely. That grind surface is not bad. Let's see, what other tricks can we do? Again, I talked about with the finger, it's not really going to be ideal for finger spins, but you can pull it off as long as you hit it just right. It's not going to be centering, so kind of my nail kind of slid around just like the outside of this little mini bowl area here. Kind of just comes up just a little bit. Doesn't dome over, it flattens out, but there's sort of a little mini channel there. And the engravings aren't too obnoxious on the fingernail. Sometimes, you know, when you have engravings on the hub there, it can kind of feel a little odd on the finger, and it's, I don't know, texturally it might freak you out. But not so bad on this one. Let's go ahead and see what horizontal looks like, because that's certainly tricks that you would be doing for more stage performance. So. Okay. Okay, I don't do horizontal. That's pretty much the only tricks I'll ever do, just kind of the basic banana turnover, just to kind of see and test it out as far as how stable and how much it will keep on the plane. I am finding no problems with this. This is a really good candidate for somebody who's really into horizontal, and which, you know, if that's kind of more your jam as far as performance type tricks, or you're trying to get better at horizontal, for instance, this might be a really good yo-yo to pick up for something like that. Thumb grinds, there isn't an IRG necessarily that hooks in, but you can certainly pick it up without really tilting it too much. I tilted it just a little bit, but so on not a tilt like I just did, it might pop out a little bit. If you tilt it just a little bit, if you're trying to do a thumb grind, not bad. Again, same thing with the finger spin. Like if you hit it just right, you can do a decent finger spin, but it's not necessarily designed to be a feature of it. There are certain yo-yos that just kind of want to make you push to do different types of tricks, maybe even outside of your wheelhouse of style and so on. I'm not a tech performer. I'm not a stage type trick performer. That's not even the right vocabulary, but you know what I mean. This yo-yo kind of is like forcing me to almost push that. So in the hands of maybe somebody who really is competition focused, I think this would be really, really swell. Can I say? Be really swell for somebody like that. So anyways, let me go ahead and throw one of my tricks, and maybe throw it a little bit different than I would normally throw it based on the yo-yo, all right? And then I'll have some last minute remarks. All right, flubbed on that last little part, but that's a trick that I've performed for a while, and I kind of I went different with it because I just feel like this yo-yo kind of speaks a little different. And I wouldn't say that this yo-yo necessarily has like a characteristic of float, but like even whenever I'm popping up like this, I feel like it does have a little bit of float quality, maybe more than you realize. In the midst of like an actual trick or a combo, I feel like you can change up the pace of the speed a little bit. I think the weight is just right there, perfect, where you can kind of manipulate the momentum a little bit more. That makes sense. So like a trick like this, where I'm just going into this Houdini mount, you know what I mean? And I can pause, I can move a little bit, you know, faster, slower, and kind of change the tempo of that. This yo-yo kind of feels that a little bit more, and that's kind of, I think, what you're looking for in something that's more competition focused. We're gonna hit a little bit more of those just variety of tricks and styles. So within a combo, it's very enjoyable to watch because you can change up the pace and momentum. That's not that you can't do that with other yo-yos, but some other yo-yos just kind of, like this one, has that perfect weight distribution, that perfect width, that perfect just kind of feel on the string. They kind of give it that sort of more commanding, I can control the tempo of the yo-yo itself. I hope I'm making myself clear enough on that, because I think that's a unique factor in this bimetal. And not all bimetals have that factor. A lot of good bimetals, and a lot of good performance bimetals. But this is one of the first ones I've ever tried really that kind of has that, like, you can really adjust the tempo of it. So that's gonna do it for my remarks on the FOCUS-Z01. And yeah, and as usual, good day and good yo-yo.